Hey guys, Weeby News here, and we are back with yet another video. And today I am very excited because we are doing the Wheel of Fate with the Project Eden's Garden characters. For those of you who aren't familiar with Wheel of Fate videos, I've done quite a few on this channel. So basically what it is that you create your own Danganronpa game by randomly choosing characters to be the protagonist, victim, killer, etc. by spinning this wheel. I like to play a little chaotically though. Whenever I land on a protagonist, I still like to leave them in for the killer and victim roles as well, just so, there may be a twist that the protagonist dies and we have to switch protagonist. Normally when I play this too, I just kind of go by like Danganronpa tropes, like, one killer, one victim for chapter 1, 2, then for chapter 3, 2 victims, and then just one victim for chapters 4 and 5 as well. But this one, I want to spice it up a little bit more, so I made a second wheel. The second wheel basically kind of randomizes how many victims or killers we'll have per chapter. So even though we have 5 chapters, I made about 10 different outcomes for this wheel. So there's about a 60% chance that we'll land on one victim, kind of like the normal thing that happens in a Danganronpa chapter. Then there's a 30% chance we'll have 2 victims, which is kind of like the chapter 3 thing that usually happens. And then there is a 10% chance we will have 2 killers, which I think would be so crazy and so fun. But like I said, I did make it 10 different things to land on, so we might not land on all of these. So basically there's like a chance we could get 2 killers, but also a chance we might not get 2 killers. Another thing I'm planning on doing is removing the outcomes as we roll them. Also for this wheel, I am planning on making a rule for it. So if we keep landing on like 2 victims, and we even end up landing on like 2 killers, and basically it looks like for the rest of the game, even if we land on 1 victim, we're gonna only have 2 survivors, then I'm just gonna stop using the wheel and only go to 1 victim. Since like in Danganronpa, and I think in Eden's Garden as well, they kind of mention having like 2 survivors at the end of the game being the goal. But yeah, I just don't want to have less than 2 survivors because that would be crazy. Can you imagine we like roll for the mastermind but there's like no survivors left, so it's just like, whoa, oh my god, Damon's the mastermind, and the crowd goes wild. So I think that's kind of a good way to sort of balance this out while trying to make it a little bit more chaotic, you know what I mean? But before we get into the video, I would like to thank today's sponsor, Tribe 9. Tribe 9 is Akatsuki Games' newest free-to-play action RPG. It releases on February 20th for both PC and mobile devices. It was also made under the supervision of Tukio Games, with Kazutaka Kodaka as the story concept creator. As a longtime fan of Danganronpa and Kodaka storytelling, I am super duper excited to see what kind of crazy twist this game will have in store for us. And I'm also super excited to see more of Rui Kamatsuzaki's beautiful art as well. Tribe 9 takes place in Neo Tokyo. In the year of 20XX, teens play XB or extreme baseball to resolve conflicts without violence. In these games, the loser of the match has to obey the winner. But times have started to change. Now XB has been replaced with XG, a dangerous version of the game with deadly consequences. Play as Yo Kuranaka, an amnesiac teen, and his friends as they navigate this mysterious and dangerous world dominated by death games. In Tribe 9, you get to experience this dangerous action yourself through real-time combat. In these battles, you must evade your enemy's every move in order to raise your tension so that you can deliver powerful attacks against your opponents. Experience Tribe 9's unique storytelling and exciting gameplay for yourself by downloading it today. Like I said before, this game is free to play, so you lose nothing by trying it. And if you download it today using the link in the description, my pinned comment, or this QR code, then you get a limited time skin of Koichi Koenada, and you also get starter supplies. So once again, I recommend you guys to download it. Please do use the link in the description, the pinned comment, or my QR code, because it helps me out and you get a lot of cool stuff. Once again, thank you to Tribe 9 for sponsoring this video, and let's go ahead and get right back to the Wheel of Fate. Okay, so first we're gonna be rolling for the protagonist. I am so scared. Okay, let's do it. Let's do it. Who's it gonna be? Oh, Ingrid. Okay, I'm cool with Ingrid being a protagonist. It is kind of funny how, like, I don't know, crazy different a vibe it is from Damon being the protagonist. Like, I feel like their personalities cannot be, like, any more different. Like, Ingrid's so sweet and loving and caring, and then Damon's such a little Damon. I do feel like it is kind of interesting having Ingrid as a protagonist because she is very like sweet. She cares a lot about others, etc., etc. And I feel like she does share a lot of like qualities with like Kaide, you know, for example, from V3. But I don't think she's quite as like outspoken as Kaide. So I still feel like, you know, as long as like characters like Wolfgang are around, I think they're gonna kind of like be the one to take on the leader role. And then maybe when some of those like leader type characters either fall into despair or die, she'll have the opportunity to kind of like step up and deliver those hope speeches that she was born to give. Damn it. But yeah, I don't know if I have too much else to say about Ingrid being a protagonist. I feel like she's a pretty good fit, you know what I mean? But yeah, so next we're gonna land on what is going to happen this chapter. Will we have one victim? Will we have two victims? Will we have two killers? We shall find out. I think I'm even more nervous about this one. Let's see, who are we gonna get? Or how many are we gonna get? Let's see here. Oh. 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 Okay, we're starting this out with a pretty violent killing game. I'm so sorry, Queen Ingrid. I don't think you or Wolfgang's hope speeches are working so far. Victim number one. Let's see. Who is it? No! Oh, Jean! Oh, man. Oh, Jean's such a sweetheart. Damn, they must have been really swole, or I don't know what they would use to kill Jean with, because he's a big dude. You know what I mean? That is kind of shocking for a first victim. I do kind of feel bad, though, because I was freaking out for a second because I was so sure it was going to be Cassidy. And, like, I really like Jean, but I love Cassidy, dude. She's, like, probably in, like, my top 5 favorite characters. She's so goofy and funny. So, I'm sorry, Jean, but I was a little relieved when it landed on you. I'm so sorry, bestie. Please forgive me. Well, that's victim number 1. So, let's go ahead and find out victim number 2. Okay. No! No! No, not Desmond. I love Desmond. Damn it. Damn it, dude. Oh, man, I hate that. I really like Desmond a lot. Who the fuck killed them? Like, how did they kill Jean, like one of the buffest dudes in this game? And then Desmond, who's got like a room stocked with weapons. Okay, in the spirit of trying to make things as chaotic as possible, like I mentioned before, I am gonna put Desmond and Jean back in case this does turn out to be like a murder sewer slide kind of situation. So, yeah, let's go ahead and find out who is the killer? Who is the person that decided to go on a fucking killing spree 10 minutes after they had stepped into the academy? I like to think in this version, we didn't even get a prologue. They just went straight to killing. What the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck? Dude, either of those options would have been fucking crazy. I feel like Wolfgang makes more sense though. Dude, freaking Wolfgang cannot catch a break, dude. He dies first in actual Eden's Garden, and then he's the first killer in My Wheel of Fate too. Oh man, Wolfgang, you were never ever meant to see the light of chapter 2, were you, buddy? It honestly makes a lot of sense for Wolfgang to be the first killer, and even for him to target Jean and Desmond, because I feel like, you know, Wolfgang obviously tries to put on this front of being like, you know, this good leader, and he trusts everybody in the group, and like that trust would never falter, you know what I mean? But there's a lot of moments in the game where you kind of can see that he's not quite as confident in the group as he like sort of expresses. There's like this one moment in chapter 1 where he tells Damon like he's so certain that nobody's gonna use the drugs in the pharmacy to kill anybody, but it's also sort of implied in that scene by the way he acts that like he's not really 100% confident nobody's gonna use the drugs in the pharmacy, you know what I mean? And of course, there's also the fact that like when the killer requested to meet Wolfgang downstairs, he brought a knife with him for self-protection. You know, if he was quite as like confident and trusting in everybody as he said, I don't think he would feel the need to bring the knife, which I mean, like, obviously he should have brought the knife. He was getting targeted for murder, so like Slay King. But I think it does just kind of go against maybe like with the front he was putting on. Okay, so the way that I kind of see this going down is I think we're gonna start out, you know, just kind of how it started out in Eden's Garden, except this time we're playing as Ingrid. Wolfgang is going to take up the leadership role and everybody's going to be kind of relying on him, except for Eva and Damon. They're still going to be kind of like, you know, unsure of his hope speech BS stuff. And of course, Damon, you know, is still going to be sniffing his own farts and telling everybody else that their talents suck and stuff like that. Okay, so where it's going to differ for this chapter is that I'm going to use the motive from Danganronpa 1 chapter 2. So like instead of randomizing who gets whose blackmail, I'm just going to have Tozu give the blackmail directly to the person that it belongs to. So like Wolfgang is going to get his own blackmail basically. And then Toz is going to mention, hey, if you don't kill somebody within the next like 24 to 48 hours, I am going to reveal this blackmail to the world and to everybody in the group, obviously. And so I think this could work because it does seem like Wolfgang is very sensitive when it comes to his parents. I have a theory about it after watching the free time events. So in the envelope that Damon receives, it says like father like son, beneath a sheep's skin hides a wolfish mind. And it shows who we assume to be both of Wolfgang's parents, his mom and his dad. He looks like a spitting image of his dad, but he never mentions his dad in his free time events. Instead, he only talks about his mom, how great of a lawyer she is and how much he looks up to her and basically wants to be like her. It also mentions in his free time events that his mom only represents women and children. It seems like she has an aversion to men. And it makes me speculate that Wolfgang's dad is basically what the envelope was saying. A very handsome man that hides a very devilish personality. And so I'm kind of thinking that he was probably a violent person. I think honestly he could have maybe been violent towards Wolfgang's mom. And I think this would make sense why she only takes on women and children clients and why she would have an aversion to men if, you know, she had an extremely traumatic, you know, series of events with a man, especially a man that she thought she could trust and married. And also based on that encounter that Wolfgang has with Diana in chapter 1, it seems like his relationship with his mom is not great. It seems like he kind of feels like he's in her shadow and maybe they're not on the best of terms. I think it could be that the mom has an aversion to Wolfgang himself because he looks like the dad. I could see the mom having a hard time like giving Wolfgang love and affection if he looks exactly like the person that abused her. So I could see that being a big kind of like issue in their relationship. And I think it would make sense why Wolfgang, you know, seems to work so hard trying to become an amazing lawyer like his mom so he can impress her and like earn her love. If my theory is correct, then I kind of sort of speculate that Wolfgang does also see his dad in himself and he kind of has self-hatred because of the way he looks like his dad and the way that his mom looks at him, kind of like seeing that abusive, horrible person in him. Even though he's obviously like a victim in this situation, he didn't do anything wrong. I could see him having like self-hatred and self-guilt because of this. So in Wolfgang's mind, the first issue is going to be the group that he has like worked so hard building trust with, finding out in his mind, oh, he's just like his piece of shit dad, basically. And then the second issue is the world finding out in his mind that he's just like his dad, because that's the way Tozu is gonna like, you know, frame it, especially with the way this envelope reads, like father, like son, beneath the sheep's skin hides a wolfish mind, like you're just like your dad. And I'm gonna tell the world that, Wolfgang. So that's gonna be kind of the premise of it. So I think Wolfgang is going to freak out in this. He's not gonna think rationally because it's connected to this like deep sort of like trauma that he has. And so he's going to target Jean and Desmond. I think Jean, it makes sense why he would target him because Jean, I do feel like is kind of like the second most leadery character of the group. I think a lot of people kind of like underestimate Jean too because he's such a handsome guy. I think a lot of people assume that he'll be like a himbo, but I do feel like he dropped a lot of really good knowledge during the trial. I think he had a lot of good takes. I think he's a lot smarter than people kind of like take him for. And I think Wolfgang sees that, so he kills Jean in order to make sure that he's not going to influence the trial. He's definitely gonna have to drug him at the pharmacy in order to overpower him. That is definitely gonna be a big part of it. As for why he kills Desmond, I was like, Desmond's such a chill dude. Why would anybody want to kill Desmond? So what I think it's going to end up being is that Wolfgang was only planning on killing Jean because, like I said, he's a leader. He doesn't want him to influence this trial. Wolfgang wants to be the only one to influence the trial, you know what I'm saying? Because he needs to get out of it. And in this chapter, they also find out about the doors all being unlocked and they have to bunk with each other, yada, yada, yada. And so Wolfgang is going to break into Desmond's room while Desmond is doing one of his like 10-hour workouts. And he's going to think he's good to go in there and steal a weapon to kill Jean with and run out really quickly. But Desmond ends up catching him. I feel like Desmond is such a chill dude. I could see him being like, hey, Wolfgang, like, what's going on? Like, why are you in my room? Like, looking at different knives. That's weird. That's suspicious. But I could see him not, like, jumping to conclusions immediately and being like, burger! So I think Wolfgang's gonna take advantage of Desmond's like chill vibe and be like, nah, dude, like, dude, your clothes are just so dope. You know, I just wanted to see if you had any extra jackets. Then he's gonna get up there and like smother him to death or some shit. He's gonna use the element of surprise. Because I do feel like, honestly, in a fight, Desmond probably could overpower Wolfgang because he's more muscular and he does like work out 10 hours a day. But Wolfgang is still bigger than him, like weight-wise and height-wise. So I'm gonna say that with the element surprise and the kind of like weight advantage, he's able to like take him out quickly and quietly in his room. And so now Wolfgang's like, I just killed somebody, but I still want to kill Jean because I'm still worried about him, like, you know, fucking up the trial for me and like exposing me because, you know, he's also kind of like the main leader person I'm competing with. So he's gonna go to the pharmacy, drug and kill Jean very quickly before everybody goes to bed and finds Desmond's dead body in his room since, you know, Desmond's bunking up with somebody. And so he's gonna do both those deaths in the same day, and the BDA is gonna be called on Jean before they find Desmond. And basically, while they're doing the investigation for Jean, they're gonna be like, I haven't really seen Desmond in a while. And I could see Eloise kind of be the first one to kind of notice, like, hey, where's Desmond? And then they start kind of like frantically searching for him while they're investigating. So like maybe half the group investigates, half the group searches for Desmond. And then, just because I love pain, I'm gonna make Eloise be the first one to discover his body. Oh God. And she's gonna be fucking pissed, dude, because Eloise has got a little bit of a dark side. So I think she's gonna be hella triggered and ready to take down whoever killed Desmond, whoever killed her boyfriend. I'm a big Eloise Desmond shipper, if you can't tell. I think they're so cute together. And then, of course, Wolfgang is going to be found guilty during the trial. And just for funsies, I'm gonna say that him and Grace still banged this chapter. And I think Grace is gonna be Delulu the whole trial defending Wolfgang. And I think she's not gonna want to accept it even after he gets, you know, chosen as the culprit. And she is also going to be kind of like shutting out everybody next chapter and like not wanting to talk to them. So yeah, that's chapter 1. Quite a big chapter already. So let's see what is gonna happen. Chapter 2. Will we get 1 victim? Will we get 2 victims again? Is this gonna be the most bloodthirsty killing game on Earth? We shall see. Let's go. What the fuck? Jesus Christ! Can you guys stop for 2 seconds? For 2 seconds? How is there already 4 victims now in this killing game? It's chapter 2. Chapter 2. Holy shit. Okay, so 2 more victims. Okay, victim 1. Oh, okay, Diana. That's sad. I do like Diana a lot. I could definitely see Diana being a victim this chapter. Because, like, even in the regular game, she is such a big, like, Wolfgang hype woman, you know what I mean? I could see her being, like, just super devastated by the fact that, you know, he killed not 1 but 2 people. So I could see her being depressed in, like, a really vulnerable state because of that and being an easy target for murder. Okay, bye-bye, Diana. I'm so sorry. Victim number 2. Again. Oh, no, Eloise. Oh, man. Oh, that breaks my heart. Oh, that breaks my heart, dude. Oh, that makes me so sad. It makes sense, dude. She would be super upset about Desmond dying. So I guess I could see her potentially being an easy target too if she also kind of like Diana is just so upset about the previous case that she kind of goes in her shell and gets really depressed and vulnerable. I was hoping since, like, you know, Eloise does have that dog in her that we kind of see in her free time events when she threatens Damon, that she would kind of do the opposite and be more on guard, more alert, more ready to, you know, make sure another death doesn't happen again, like what happened to Desmond. But I could see it going this way too. I just don't like it. I don't like it. I really love Eloise and Desmond. I don't like seeing this. I don't like this happening. So let's see who is the killer. Oh man. Let's see. Cassidy. Okay. I have no idea how to write this one. Cassidy's such a, like, chill queen, you know what I mean? I'm like, I don't know how she's gonna, or why she would kill other people. I do hate to see Cassidy go, too. Like I said, I really like Cassidy a lot. She's probably one of my, like, top 5 favorite characters. Okay, I'll remove all you guys now. Let's see. God, we're already so low on contestants. This is going to be chapter 3, mind you. I'm proud of you, Kaimon, for making it so far. It's their love for each other. That's keeping them both alive. Okay, I'm gonna start it out. Eloise and Diana are butting heads a lot. So scratch all the crap I said about them being depressed and vulnerable. The way this affects them is totally different now. So Diana, maybe she just kind of like doubles down that Wolfgang was trying to do the right thing. So maybe after last chapter, Wolfgang, before he gets executed, he gives like the dopest hope speech of all time. He's got everybody crying and pissing and shitting themselves because it's the most beautiful hope speech you've ever heard in your life. So obviously, like, I don't think Damon's gonna buy it. I don't think Eva's gonna buy it. I don't think Wenona's gonna buy it. But I think Jet, Ingrid, Toshiko, Kai, Diana, Cassidy, they're gonna buy it. I think they're gonna buy the hope speech and be like, you know, Wolfgang, he just had a lot of trauma. If he was still alive, I think we could fix him. We can make things better. So I think he's gonna convince them that he's still a good dude. But Eloise, she's not gonna be buying it. She's gonna be like, are you guys seriously like agreeing with this fucking hopium bullshit? Like, he murdered 2 people. And like, I gotta imagine she would be extra pissed by the fact that Desmond died just because he was like at the wrong place at the wrong time. Like, it's so unfair. The fact that like Wolfgang was only targeting Jean, but Desmond just ended up dying anyways. So I cannot imagine how livid she would be. I could see Diana. I could see her being like, guys, we gotta keep living and keep being best fucking friends because it's what Wolfgang would want. And I could see Eloise in the corner like, bleh. Like, what is this girl talking about? Hell no. Hell no. So I think Diana, after Wolfgang's death, is going to try to take over the place of Wolfgang, and Eloise is going to be fighting her at every turn. So they're going to be clashing. They're going to be butting heads a bunch. So I could see a really big plot point in this chapter being the fact that, you know, Desmond's room is unlocked and there's a bunch of weapons there, and we need to make sure nobody else decides to get a weapon to kill people with type of thing. So I could see the group deciding, hey, we need to have people like guard these weapons in shifts. And I could see them deciding to have 2 people at a time guarding the weapons to make sure, you know, nobody's going in there and like taking something that they're going to use later. I think for the most part, how they're going to decide who is like guarding, you know, which time will be randomized, but obviously try to keep people who are like super hostile towards each other, like not guarding on the same shift, like Eloise and Diana. So I think what's going to happen is that Cassidy and Eloise are going to end up guarding the weapons together at like 3 a.m. or some really bad time where a murder can happen. And Cassidy is super sweet. She's super chill, but she's very blunt. Like, some of the stuff she says to Damon's face is crazy. She'll just be like, yeah, this is why you have no friends, Damo. So I could see her saying some unhinged shit to Eloise that could, like, you know, piss her off, basically. And I could see, you know, since Eloise is in this, like, super emotionally volatile state after Desmond's death, I could see some of the stuff triggering her and making her really mad. So what I'm gonna say happens is that they're guarding together. I think Cassidy is more on the sort of, like, Wolfgang really wasn't that bad of a dude type of thing. And she's gonna maybe be, like, defending him to Eloise. I think Eloise is going to be like trying to ignore it, trying to like, you know, find her center and stay calm. But I think Cassidy might just like kind of keep talking, maybe not realizing how offensive she's being. And I think she might say something that will really tick her off, you know what I mean? Like maybe even mention like, I don't know, something like, oh, a lawyer is more important to society than like a marksman or something. Like just kind of like putting Wolfgang on a bit more of a pedestal than Desmond in a way. And that's what fucking sets her off. And she's like, okay, this bitch has gotta die. She's like, I have tried to be nice. I've tried to make sure no more deaths happen. Like, you know what happened to Desmond, but these people keep pushing me. They keep defending Desmond's killer. They're now trying to say or imply that Wolfgang was a better person than Desmond, you know, the victim in this situation. So like, I've had enough, bitch. I'm ready to go off. And so she is going to get one of the weapons, try to kill Cassidy. There's going to be a struggle. Again, I feel like, you know, it would make a lot more sense if Eloise wins this struggle because she's like a fencer and stuff, and she would definitely be able to overpower Cassidy. But maybe like Eloise is so like emotional and like volatile at the moment. Like she's just sobbing like, how dare you defend Wolfgang? Desmond's the real victim, etc., etc. And like, you know, maybe she's like literally sobbing. She can't see straight, and that's why she is overpowered by Cassidy in this situation. I don't think Cassidy would mean to kill Eloise. I think it would probably be kind of one of those things where like in self-defense, she like takes it too far and ends up like stabbing an artery or something. I think there is like an artery in the leg that's fatal that I feel like a lot of people don't really know about. So maybe she like stabs her in the leg, trying to just like, you know, get her to like stop killing her. You know what I mean? Like she's just trying to incapacitate her to make sure like she's not gonna die. But like I said, she ends up stabbing her in the leg, and Eloise starts bleeding out. She's freaking out. She doesn't know what to do. And let's just say during this power struggle, Diana's getting a midnight snack, you know? Poor girl, she just kind of like was at the wrong place at the wrong time. She walks in, she sees Eloise bleeding out. Cassidy, like I said, she's not a killer, not one to be a killer, but you gotta think, she just saw what happened to Wolfgang last chapter. And if Wolfgang's execution is nearly as bad as Eva's, she's gonna be thinking, I don't want that to happen to me. And Diana has just witnessed me murdering somebody, even if it was an accident. You might need to finish the job, sort of thing. So after that, Cassidy is going to kill Diana to try to cover up this murder. Not gonna be a very good way to cover it up, since I guess, like, you know, like I said, everybody's gonna know that Cassidy was like patrolling Desmond's room while everybody was asleep. So obviously she is gonna be a big fucking suspect. But I guess she could say something like, oh, you know, like me and Eloise were scheduled to, like, you know, do the guard together, but it actually ended up being that Diana came and she said she really wanted to like make amends with Eloise and guard with her instead. So I just let it happen. And it must be that, you know, Diana and Eloise they just killed each other. I feel like it probably won't be that hard to figure out that Cassidy did it, to be completely honest. I could see some people giving her the benefit of the doubt, you know, like Ingrid being like, well, you know, if that's what, you know, Cassidy said what happened, then I guess that must be what happened, sort of thing. But I can see people like Damon being like, no fucking shot. Like, you decided to let Diana, the person that Eloise hates the fucking most, guard the weapons with her, and you thought that was a good idea? Like, come on, you probably did this shit, didn't you? So I don't think it's gonna be a very long trial. I think they're gonna figure out who, you know, killed pretty quickly. I don't really know exactly what Ingrid's arc is as the protagonist, maybe just learning to trust less. I think in this game, like in the canon Eden's Garden, Toshiko and Ingrid are gonna be really close. She's gonna be like a motherly character to Toshiko. I think after the first chapter, you know, Toshiko's gonna be heartbroken. Like, I trusted Wolfgang. He seemed like such a nice guy. I can't believe he did this. And Ingrid's gonna be like, well, of course he's a nice guy. You know, like, these things just happen, but I'm sure it won't happen again, type of thing. And the next chapter, Toshiko's gonna be like, what the fuck, it happened again? And then Ingrid's gonna be kind of like starting to lose that bit of like trusting, kind nature that she has. And I could see her being conflicted when, like, you know, her kind of like views on other people are changing, but she also has this like little girl that she's trying to look after and like instill hope in. So I think she's still gonna be comforting Toshiko this chapter, like, yeah, well, you know, it happened again, but it probably won't happen a third time. But at this point, she's maybe not really believing it herself anymore. So we'll see how that sort of develops with chapter 3, I guess. Okay, let's go ahead and go for it. Chapter 3, what do you have in store? Okay, looks like one victim. You know, we're taking a little break from murdering so much in this game, and I'm happy to see it. I'm happy to see you guys become pacifists a little bit for this one chapter. It is kind of funny too. I feel like we're doing like a reverse Danganronpa, you know what I mean? Like, we've had 2 victims leading up to chapter 3, but then at chapter 3 we get a little break, which is nice. Okay, let's see. Chapter 3 victim. Who is it? Let's see. Oh, Damon. Oh, Damo. Damo. Talking a little too much shit, huh? I bet it was a shit talking that got him in trouble. Okay, let's see who kills Damon. Oh. He was just tired of this shit. He was just so tired of this shit, man. He just decided to end it all. It shouldn't be as funny as it is. It shouldn't be, but it's so fucking funny. To be fair, the last trial was pretty fucking stupid too, with like Cassidy like honestly being like charged to like be guarding the weapons with Eloise and then killing her and Diana and then blaming it on Diana somehow, you know? Like, that's a pretty stupid alibi considering everybody knew she was supposed to be, you know, guarded up with Eloise. I don't know, I kind of like the idea of everybody, like every single person, besides maybe I guess Eva, being like, yep, that sounds right. We should just vote Diana and get it over with. We don't want to go through another one of these class trials. The last one was too stressful, and then Damon having to like just lead the whole trial on his own and being like, you guys are the biggest fucking idiots on earth. He's like, Kai, you're not even hot enough for me to want to date you anymore. I can't get past how fucking stupid you are believing this story. And then he just decides to end it all. He's over it. He can't be a part of this killing game anymore. He's ready to go to the big debate club in the sky. Okay, I'll try to come up with something legit as to why this happened, although I do think the first scenario is hilarious. Okay, so this chapter, Tozu is going to finally do a motive. he's gonna hide a mystery inside of the school. And, you know, it'll be tailored to whoever finds it. And he's just going to say, like, oh, it'll change your life if you find it. Maybe he could even tease, like, could it be a ticket to getting out of the killing game? Maybe, maybe not. We don't know. You'll have to find it kind of thing. So anyways, he's really convinced that the secret is going to be a way to escape the killing game. So he puts all his effort into finding it. And then once he does, he's going to realize that it's actually the motive for murder this chapter. And basically it's going to kind of be like the motive in chapter 1, like showing that his family's died and that the world has gone to shit too. But instead of being ambiguous like the motive in that one, it's just gonna straight up show his parents being dead. Not like a, oh, they're here, now they're not. Are they dead? You gotta kill to find out kind of thing. No, it's just gonna be them dead. It's gonna be like confirmed, basically. Unless you wanna like beat a Lulu and be like, maybe it's altered, maybe it's CGI kind of thing. It's also gonna show that the world has gone to complete shit and that like, even if you escape, it doesn't really matter. I think this would be the best motivation for, you know, Damon to, you know, commit suicide because it does seem like he is really close with his parents. It kind of seems like they have a little bit of a weird relationship because in his free time events with Ingrid, she mentions his parents and he gets kind of defensive about it and he even mentions something along the lines of like, oh, without me, they would ... And I feel like he was kind of implying like they wouldn't have anything if it wasn't for him. So it seems like maybe he has to provide like money for his parents in order to survive like with his debate skills. But regardless, it does seem like he cares about them a lot. And I feel like it's pretty much confirmed at this point that Damon doesn't have any friends outside of his parents. Another thing about Damon is like, I feel like he's really obsessed with like climbing up the social ladder of the world and like being this like very well respected and like big person in society. And I could see if like society has crumbled and his parents, the people who are closest to him, are now dead, him not wanting to live anymore. I think he's not gonna leave like a note behind. I don't think he's gonna tell them what he found in the evidence either because Damon's kind of spiteful, you know what I mean? And like I said, he was pissed after the last trial, everybody being so stupid. So I could see him just being like, fuck these guys. I want them to struggle during this trial. I don't want them to know how I died, what happened, why. And also, they can figure out that the world's gone to shit on their own after they get to the end. Who cares? I don't, because I'm gonna be dead. It would be kind of a crazy trial, like everybody kind of turning against each other, like trying to figure out who killed Damon, especially when there's like not really a whole lot of evidence that leads to anybody. Dude, would Damon be spiteful enough to make it look like somebody killed him? Just to spite them even more in the afterlife, like trying to put like a fake killer note or some shit and they have to like figure out, you know, actually I think Damon just wrote this to fuck with us. I kind of love that, honestly. I gotta add a little bit of meme to this chapter since I wasn't able to do the full meme outcome that I came up with earlier. I'm not really sure how Ingrid and Toshiko would respond to this chapter since I have been trying to like build a story with them. I mean, I don't think they think highly of Damon, but I do think they would be surprised by like the links at which he went to like basically screw them over, you know what I mean? So I think again, kind of like losing more and more faith in humanity. So I think that side story is just kind of continuing as is. Okay, let's see. Chapter 4. What will happen? Let us see. Okay. Another one victim. Okay, we're chilling out a little bit in this killing game. We started off really strong, but now we're relaxing. Okay, let's see who is the victim. Oh, Eva. Okay, interesting. Would Eva just f herself next? That would be kind of hilarious. Just chapters 3 and 4 are her and Damon just piecing out of this killing game because they're sick of everybody. Let's keep it rolling. Who killed Eva? No! No! Dude! Right after I was saying that too about how like, oh, Ingrid might be like losing more and more faith in humanity, blah, blah, blah type of thing. I didn't think she would go this far. I thought she was just still kind of like slightly getting more like sad and upset about it. Not like she was ready to kill somebody over it. Okay, we're at chapter 4. This game has been going on for a while. I'm gonna say just like in Eden's Garden, chapter 1, everybody finds out that Eva was lying about her talent. It was super embarrassing for her. And everybody, you know, kind of wants to keep a distance from her because, you know, first of all, she's a nerd. And second of all, she lied about her talent and she's kind of a dangerous person. So I think this is gonna be chipping away at her sanity, you know, like little by little over time. I think the only person she is going to be close with is Damon, basically, because, you know, they're both kind of like ostracized from the group for being, you know, tools, basically. And I could see Damon's death really hitting her hard, you know? Like the only person she felt like she could rely on is gone. Although Damon is, you know, a bit of a douche, I do think he would have some goodwill towards Eva if they have been like friends during this killing game. I think their relationship in this is going to be more kind of like a mutual respect sort of thing. I don't think they're going to be like best friends. I don't think they're going to be like romantic partners or anything like that either. I think it's mostly just going to be they kind of like understand the position they're in and they kind of are used to both being ostracized. So they're going to kind of bond over that a little bit, but in their own kind of like regular ways, they're still going to be a bit cold and stiff towards each other. But you know, since they were kind of close in this game, I'm going to say that Damon does leave behind some goodwill for Eva, and he kind of, you know, lets her know what's up. So he didn't leave a note, you know, where he died, didn't leave like a sewer slide note, but maybe he leaves like a note like in that kind of basement area that only Eva goes into, and he knows that like, oh, only Eva will find this note. So he leaves a note behind for her, just letting her know like, hey, I found out what was going on in the outside world. It is not good. I did not want to stay anymore, so I decided to take my own life. I'm sorry, you're the only person I really didn't want to have to put through like the struggle of a class trial, but I just couldn't do it anymore type of thing. And so she's gonna find that note. And Eva, like I said, during this killing game, her sanity has been kind of chipped at. Everybody's been ostracizing her. She just finally lost her like, you know, last ally as well. And now she's learned that something really bad is going on in the outside world too. So I think at this point, she just doesn't really have any cares anymore for this group. I think she's just going to want to escape at this point. And Eva at the beginning of this chapter is going to make her disdain for the group very well known. She's going to be going off. She's going to be, you know, talking about how she wishes everybody would die. She doesn't give a shit anymore, blah, blah, blah. Damon's the only person she cared about. Oh my God, he's gone now. This sucks. And so Ingrid is going to know Eva's a character maybe I should be watching. She does not seem stable. She kind of seems like she might be the next person to kill. Like Ingrid at this point is not as trusting anymore, like I said, because these chapters are just kind of like gnawing at her sort of like naive hope as well. And I think like the longer this killing game has been going on, the more like sort of protective of Toshiko she's gonna be. I could even see it being that like Eva's not necessarily targeting Toshiko, but like Ingrid is so paranoid at this point that somebody might target Toshiko because like I said, she's so vulnerable that she just assumes. She sees Eva getting some shit prepared and she sees Eva maybe kind of like staring at Toshiko, or kind of like maybe all of a sudden she's going to like eat lunch at the same time as Toshiko, and she assumes that like Eva's trying to like figure out Toshiko's schedule or something like that, and she's just automatically going to like the worst outcome because she's so paranoid now. So before Eva's even able to make her move and kill somebody, Ingrid kills her. And then we get to the trial, and oh God, Toshiko finds out that Ingrid's a murderer. Oh my God, my heart's breaking. Oh God, that's gotta be horrible. I do think I actually like this version instead of like Eva targeting Toshiko. I kind of like the idea of Ingrid just assuming that's the case and kind of like acting rashly about it, because I think it makes it like a more interesting story. Because I feel like if like Eva was just straight up targeting Toshiko and then like Ingrid came in and saved the day, it would be kind of like, okay, obviously like Ingrid's still this great person, like you know, she just was trying to protect Toshiko. But I like the idea of it being a little bit more gray, of her just being paranoid about it, because then that kind of is going to influence Toshiko and be like, okay, Wolfgang, someone I trusted and really like looked up to betrayed me. Cassidy, someone who seemed really cool, betrayed me. Damon kind of sucked, but he sucked worse than I thought he did. Betrayal. Ingrid, my like big sister of the killing game, the person who's been looking after me, killed just because she thought something might happen. Like that would have to really fuck with her, like really start to make her like not trust anybody. Like I think after this, Toshiko is going to be really on edge. I think she's obviously going to be heartbroken. I think she's still going to love Ingrid, but I think her like youthful naivety is gonna be shattered at this point. Okay, so we gotta roll for a new protagonist now. I do hope it is Toshiko, because that would make like the most sense, like kind of like narratively, you know what I mean? But we'll see. Well, I'll just get somebody random like Jed or something. Let's fucking go! I'm cool with Wenona too, baby! Yes, 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 yes! My girl, my girl, my girl! I fucking love Wenona, yes! Let's get ready to clock these losers together, queen! Oh my God, slay. Slay! Oh my God, I'm so excited. I fucking love Wenona. She's like one of my favorite characters. God, she might even, I'm trying to think. I think Kai's my #1 favorite character. I think Wenona's probably my 2nd favorite character. I love her. She's just so cool, man. She's such a fucking girl boss. She just says it how it is. And I feel like I just kind of see her being like an interesting character to follow throughout the killing game. So I'm stoked. You know, it would have made more sense narratively, like I said, for Toshiko to be the protagonist, but I got my girl. I got my queen, and I'm cool with that. Okay, let's do this. What is gonna happen in chapter 5? Okay, just one victim. Man, I was kind of hoping for 2 killers. Just because I'm fucked up. But okay, we're taking it slow the rest of the killing game. I can respect that. Okay. Okay, let's see who is the victim of this chapter. I swear to God, Wenona, it better not be you. Oh, Grace. Aw, I like Grace. You know, it is kind of like amazing that she survived this long, considering what went down with Wolfgang in chapter 1. I think if this wasn't being like randomly chosen, it would make more sense for her to like either kill or be killed like chapter 2. But hey, she survived this long. You know, I'm proud of our girl for sticking with it. Also, not to brag, but my 2 faves have made it really far, both Kai and Wenona. I just realized that. I was like, oh my God, are you guys actually gonna be survivors? I feel like my favorite characters never survive these things. Okay, let's go ahead and see who is the killer. Oh God dang it. Really? What the fuck? Oh my God. Can you people stop yourselves? I just went on this rant about her being strong. Jesus Christ. Why would you do this, Grace? Why? All I know is that Wenona is gonna solve this shit like the queen she is. I guess before I decide why Grace did this to herself, I'm just gonna go ahead and continue Toshiko's story, since you know she was a big part of this story from the beginning since we were playing as Ingrid. At this point, the only other female characters too are Grace and Wenona. I don't see Grace trying to comfort or really help Toshiko at all. I feel like she seems like a pretty selfish person. I think Wenona has been like pretty cold so far in the game, but I don't think she's as like sort of standoffish as Grace. I feel like Wenona is a very like logical person, and I could see her like maybe trying to help Toshiko and like kind of showing her tough love. I could see Toshiko's really broken, upset about Ingrid, and maybe like Wenona tries to come in and like sort of explain to her like, hey, you know, crying's not going to help anything. Like, you can't just dwell on the past, yada, 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 that kind of stuff. And like, maybe she did just kind of mean to like give that one encouraging comment to Toshiko. But I could see like Toshiko seeing it as sort of like an olive branch. And I think at this point, she's going to feel really vulnerable. So I could see her maybe trying to like, maybe latch on to Wenona. Like in her mind, I think she'll see, oh, here's another like older kind of like female figure in the game. Like maybe I can kind of like be under her protection now since I was under Ingrid's beforehand. And although Wenona is not like, you know, as physically strong as Ingrid, she is still a very strong and, you know, powerful woman in terms of like her, you know, smarts, her wealth, etc., etc. So I could see her kind of being like a character that Toshiko feels could protect her, you know what I mean? And could sort of like fend off anybody that Toshiko would see as a threat. So I'm gonna say Toshiko latches herself onto Wenona. We took on Ingrid's title of protagonist, so we should take on her daughter to Toshiko. It's only right. So for this chapter, we're gonna use the V3 chapter 1 motive, where it's like, if you kill somebody this chapter, you get off scot-free. You get to leave the killing game sort of thing. And since that is, you know, a very good deal, I think some people might want to take him up on it. And I think somebody is going to decide to try and kill Grace in order to get out of the killing game. As for who would like be the one to try to kill her, I don't know. Since we didn't get like an actual killer this chapter, I'm going to decide to stretch the rules just a little bit, and I'm going to make it to where we roll to decide who chose to attempt to kill Grace. And I'm taking Grace out of this one. You can't also attempt to kill yourself, girl. You got to learn how to stop. So who attempted to kill Grace but failed? What the fuck? I was expecting it to land on like a Mark, maybe Wenona, because I was like, I could see it happening, but it is a little weird now that I made her like a mother to Toshiko or whatever the fuck. Toshiko, girl, what are you doing? You are a child. You are like 10 years old. Why are you trying to take on an athlete? Girly pop, what is going on? It makes sense she would be the one to take Tozu on the offer of like killing and getting away scot-free, because she just wants to get out of this killing game at all costs at this point. So maybe she does try to attach herself to Wenona until Tozu mentions the motive. Then she's like, I should just probably try to do that instead. Screw latching myself onto this girl boss. I'll just try to fucking murder. So she decides that for whatever godforsaken reason, she chooses to target Grace, probably the most dangerous person left in this killing game. The only way Toshiko is going to kill somebody is if she poisons them. them, right? Or like, you know, dopes them up with like stuff from the pharmacy. Maybe she targets Grace just because Grace is like the easiest person to poison or something. I don't know. Grace is like a golfer. I feel like athletes like meal prep a lot. Maybe Grace is fucking meal prepping food. You know, she has like her own section in the fridge where she puts her meal prepped food. And so Toshiko's like, hey, we all know this is Grace's food because she's all bitching at us all the time. So like, let me just put some kind of like poison or something in that food. And why Grace didn't think about somebody potentially poisoning her food because they're in a killing game beats me. I don't know. You know, she's not the ultimate mathlete, okay? She's the ultimate golfer, okay? Maybe she's not the most smart person in the world, okay? She's not thinking about those sorts of things. Okay, so like I said, Grace is gonna be really like obsessive, I guess, about these like meal prepped foods that she has. She's gonna have one for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and even like a snack at night that she eats. Like I said, she's an athlete. I feel like athletes are really like kind of strict with when they eat, and they always kind of eat at the same times every day. So I'm gonna say every night she gets a snack before bed. And also I'm going to say that in this version, Grace, after she lost Wolfgang as like her bunk buddy, she's going to decide to not bunk with anybody anymore. She's just going to sleep by herself in her room, and she's going to try to like, you know, sort of like place doors to make sure nobody comes in sort of thing. So basically what Toshiko's plan is she's going to drug her midnight snack, and I'm going to say that she makes sure to get a really fast acting drug that's going to make, you know, her really loopy like immediately. So that way when she goes back to her room to go to bed, she's going to be too tired to like set up a blockade to like protect her room. So then Toshiko's gonna follow her to her room, and inside the room, that's gonna be when she tries to kill her. So even though Toshiko is like 10 years old, she is winning this power struggle because of like how much drugs she put in Grace's food. And so I'm gonna say she like stabs Grace like somewhere like fatal, but you have a little time before you die type of thing. So she's gonna stab Grace like, I don't know, in the chest or something, like maybe really close to her heart, but not quite at her heart. So once this happened, Grace realizes I'm going to die, but Grace, being the petty bitch she is, she takes out that knife and then stabs her own heart and herself in order to stop Toshiko from getting that freebie pass to escape the killing game. I think Grace is petty enough to do that. So that is chapter 5. I guess after that, Toshiko is gonna run out, go to her room, and probably just like cry, honestly. Because, you know, she tried to kill somebody, it didn't work. Now she has to go through this trial, blah, blah, blah. She's not gonna be able to get out scot-free, etc., etc. So yeah, that's gonna be pretty traumatizing for her. I don't really know how everybody else is gonna react to this. I think most people are gonna be kind of like understanding as to why Toshiko attempted to kill, but I think they all will be pretty sketched out by the fact that she did straight up stab Grace, like, you know, almost in the heart. I don't know if Wenona is gonna want to be her mom anymore. Probably not. But okay, that is all the killing chapters. So we are at chapter 6. I can't believe my two favorites have made it to the end. This is unprecedented in these games. Both Kai and Wenona, and we're playing as Wenona too, which is pretty slay. So yeah, let's see. I guess now we just have to find out who is the mastermind. Who is it? Who is it? Who is it? Oh, Ulysses! Okay, interesting, especially since we're playing as Wenona. I know a lot of people ship Wenona and Ulysses together, and I could see them being characters that get pretty close later on because they are bunking together, and it does kind of seem like they're spending a lot of time together too. And there's even some cute, you know, like art that was posted on the official like Eden's Garden Twitter page, so I could see it happening. Should it be canon in this version for dramatic effect? Of course. So I'm gonna say they're canon in this version, and Wenona just got betrayed by her boo thing. Oh, the dramatiques. I got a really stupid explanation as to why Ulysses is the mastermind. Okay, I do want to say this because I'm pretty sure it's been explicitly stated by the creators of Eden's Garden that Eden's Garden does not connect canonically to the canon games of Danganronpa at all. But I'm gonna make it kind of connect in this Wheel of Fate. I'm gonna say that this killing game happened in the same universe as Danganronpa 1 and 2. I'm gonna exclude V3 because that's too confusing. So in this universe, basically Danganronpa 1 and 2 happened like 100, 200, 300 years ago. And like, you know, civilization was destroyed by Junko, but it rebuilt. People remember the killing games, but it's not really talked about that much more. It's mostly like something that's just kind of taught about in history class. I don't think they're really going over like the details of the killing game. They probably just mention like a killing game happened. So this new civilization that's been going on for like hundreds of years, it's run its course. And like Ulysses knows this because he's a historian. He's studied so many civilizations, different like rises and falls. So he knows we're about to have like a nuclear fallout. Everything is about to go to shit. And this is kind of like a worst case scenario for him because like he loves history and like this civilization is about to like end its history. Like what will there be to like monitor and to study? And so as like a last hurrah, I guess, he decides to repeat the history of the past of the killing game, which he would be somebody who has studied it extensively and seen like what Junko did, et cetera, et cetera. And he decides, why not? Let's do it again. So he can like study and see how these participants act differently to the participants of Danganronpa 1. And so that's his motivation. He wants to learn, how are the people in this new civilization different from the people in the pre-Junko one? How will they act different? He found out it's a lot of double murders and sewer slides. That's what he found out. And then, yeah, the rest of the group decides to stop him with the power of friendship or something. And then they go back out to the destroyed civilization. And with Ulysses gone, that leaves us with 5 survivors. We got Wenona, Mark, Kai, Jet, and Toshiko. Kind of wild that both Mark and Jet made it to the end. I hope their bromance developed during this. I guess I didn't really like talk about that too much. I'd like to say it did. Kai is just vibing. He made it through this vibes alone. Toshiko is still traumatized, but she lived, so yay. Wenona is heartbroken after Ulysses betrayed her, but she will persist because she is a girl boss. Okay, so I think that's the end of it. I hope you guys enjoyed this Wheel of Fate. It was another really fun one. A little bit of a weird one, especially since I did decide to kind of add in that extra bonus wheel determining how many killers and victims there would be. I guess you guys can let me know if you like that extra wheel. I think it's kind of fun just to make it a little bit more chaotic, you know what I mean? I do really want to do this with Hell of a Boss and maybe some other shows that I watch. So yeah, let me know if you would like me to stick with this format for those future videos, or if you would like me to go back to the previous format. But yeah, did you guys enjoy this? Were you excited by who survived and who, I guess, died and killed as well? It was a pretty chaotic wheel, that's for sure. They always are, really. But yeah, thanks guys so much for watching. Please do be sure to leave a like and a comment and subscribe if you do enjoy my videos. That kind of stuff does help out a bunch, and yeah, I will see you guys real soon.